Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back. In this video, we are looking at the NBA slate for Sunday. Happy Sunday. We only have a 5-game main slate today, which is kind of a slate that I'm looking for. Not a perfectly medium-sized slate, not too overwhelming. We have a couple of games on the early slate if you guys are playing that, but I'm going to be sticking to the main slate. See if we can get something going to close out the week on the DFS side. Yesterday, kind of got saved with a single game parlay that I posted on Twitter, which hit for plus 1250 odds between the Miami and Spurs game if you hit that, but definitely need to get on a roll with this DFS side. Let's get started. As always, if you enjoy the video, appreciate it. Hit the like button, subscribe. If you haven't already, you can check out Twitter, check out Prize Picks, check out the website if you want to join. You can use my code PROCESS. I'll post my picks on Twitter later in the day once we get some of the Portland news and we get some of the Houston news. Right now at the point guard position, you have Luka Doncic. Looks like one of the best spend ups on the slate. You have him and LeBron as your top two dogs. Really good spot for Luka going up against the Warriors in terms of it just being kind of a competitive game. Golden State has Klay Thompson listed as questionable, so he definitely would make an impact if he's not able to play, just keeping it a bit closer for the Dallas side, and that would make some more Golden State people look more appealing. But I would look to Luka over Steph Curry. I'm not too interested in LaMelo Ball at that $9,600 price tag. With Martin back, they're still missing Gordon Hayward. They still run like an 8-man rotation, but there's still a big price tag for LaMelo Ball. He needs at least 60 to feel good about that much, paying that much for him. You have Rozier at 81, who's been playing just as well as LaMelo in terms of just scoring the ball some of these games. He even had a couple of big games with assists and almost had back-to-back triple-doubles earlier in the month, but 81 is still a pretty high price tag. We do have some better value picks that we can get to. We have Winslow is questionable, as well as Kevin Porter. Both are going to be big pieces of news. I'm assuming Kevin Porter is not able to play. I have no idea on Winslow. I'm assuming he's going to play just because they don't have very many bodies. But on the Houston side, not too much reason to rush Kevin Porter back. He didn't practice yesterday. He left Friday's game, and they've been really cautious with him. He's missed a bunch of games. He's left in the middle of some games with illnesses, quote unquote. So I'm assuming he's not going to play, which is going to make Jalen Green look a lot better, who's looked great in terms of scoring the ball, just a lot better recently. I've been way more consistent shooting and scoring the ball, hitting a lot more of his threes. 44, 50%, 43, 50, 50%. Going back to his last 4 or 5 games, gets you a couple of peripherals, really. Not too much of that, but he looks like a good value if there is no Kevin Porter. But the best value would be Dennis Schroeder at 51. I'm putting him in right now. If Kevin Porter plays, then you can get off of him. It's the first game on the slate, so we'll know about Kevin Porter's status. But right now, assuming he's out, Schroeder looks like a great play, a good candidate to maybe get a double-double, but would play north of 30 minutes, and he's had like one good game when they were missing Kevin Porter and Christian Wood. You expect him to probably get at least 30 fantasy points, if not more than that. Malik Monk came off the bench. If he does that again, 52 might be a little bit tougher to hit, but there's a chance that they start him just because Reeves wasn't that productive. He only had like 3 points, and the Lakers lost once again. And then at the bottom end, Reeves, if he does start, you can maybe look to him, but he played 32 minutes, didn't really do anything besides hit a couple of shots. But I wouldn't be surprised if they go to like Malik Monk just to get some more firepower on the offensive side. At shooting guard, CJ McCollum is pretty expensive at 89. Not too interested there. I'd rather go down 1,100 to Brandon Ingram, who finally, kind of looked like himself last game where he was aggressive getting to the free throw line. Got to the free throw line over 10 times, filled it out with some assists and rebounds. His assist numbers have been pretty consistent because they bring in Devontae Graham off the bench. So McCollum and Ingram are kind of like sharing ball handling responsibilities. Ingram can definitely get more assists in this situation. Further down in the mid-range here, Will Barton at 59 looks like a pretty good value pick. You can go with Jalen Green, obviously, if there's no Kevin Porter. Will look a lot better. And then on the Lakers side, if Malik Monk does start, definitely think you can look to him at 52. The value picks here, you have CJ Ellaby will look like a good value. Definitely Gordon would look like a good value if there's no Kevin Porter. And those are the main pieces. Moving on to small forward, LeBron James is 10-9. He didn't have a good fantasy game at all. Didn't even have a great real-life game. 6 turnovers, just shot 6 of 18. But going up against the Pelicans now, it's another game that's going to be competitive. All these games for the Lakers are going to be competitive unless they're playing like the Jazz or playing like one of these top teams that they'll probably get blown out. But they're at home, so I'm expecting it to be a close game. I think LeBron is going to step up and he did get a lot of shade for passing up the last shot, but he was getting double-teamed. I think it was a good decision. But I'll play him at 10-9, sub 11,000. Not too many other superstars besides him and Luka Doncic on the slate. In the mid-range, you have Morris Sr. at 6,000. It's a great matchup going up against the Rockets. He looks like a very good value pick. There is a very expensive price tag on like Reggie Jackson. I think he's like over 7K. Yeah, he's 76. That's going to be tough to get to. I'd rather save some money and go down to Morris Sr. Also, Wiggins and Gordon look like good mid-range plays. Gordon would look like a good value pick, depending on the Kevin Porter news. And then you can even go with like Amir Coffey, who's going to get mid-20 minutes off the bench. He can be productive if his shot is falling. Moving over to power forward, your most expensive guy is Bridges at 79. Josh Hart could be looking at a ton of work if there is no Winslow once again. Or not once again, but if Winslow is out, because they'll probably have to start like Watford alongside Eubanks and be really thin on their bench. But Grant at 6,000 looks like a decent value pick. I like Morris Sr. a lot. Just given the matchup, Tate will look better if there's no Kevin Porter. And that's the main pieces. At the bottom end, you can look to Batum and Covington. They're tough to project because like if one of them is having a good game, the other will just not play as many minutes. And still, even though Covington did play well last game, he only got 20 minutes. But the price tags on both of these guys are good enough to where you could see Batum have a decent game, but he is still very risky. The matchup is good enough to where you can make some arguments for that. But I'm going to go ahead and put in Morris Sr. right now, get a piece of the Clippers. That game is going to be super high scoring. It's probably one of the best ones to target in terms of both sides. At center, Jokic is up to 12.6. You also have Jokic on the slate in terms of a pay-up. So you have LeBron, Jokic, and Doncic. The price tags are pretty different between the three. You have LeBron as your cheapest. Jokic is really expensive at 12.6, but he still gives you that 70, 75 point ceiling. Had a triple-double last night, even though he didn't play particularly well. Just 6 of 16, didn't hit a 3, but still can get it done even on his off nights. But I'm not sure if I need to get all the way up there at 12.6. Looking at some other options here, we have like Zubats is 51. He can be productive, but they've also been getting like Hardenstein's been playing a lot of minutes to back him up, and he's been productive as well. Back-to-back really solid games from Hartenstein. In terms of a value pick, you have like Watford and you have Eubanks. His price tag is only 39. He played 20 minutes, didn't really do anything too much. I mean, couldn't really have a worse game, just 2 points, 2 fouls, 5 rebounds. They got blown out, so they didn't play much, but assuming he starts again, I still think he's a good enough value pick that where you can make an argument to get to him at that price tag. And then I would look to like Christian Wood at 83 if there is no Kevin Porter. So not too many great center options here. If you were going to go cheap, I think you can put in Eubanks. Portland is going to be super shorthanded tonight. Going over to the guard position, so you have Luka Doncic 11.7. Look to pay up for 2 superstars. We have a ton of value with LeBron. You're able to pay up for LeBron and Doncic, even Jokic if you wanted to, but a lot of value on the Houston side, potentially a lot of value on the Portland side. So pretty easy to make it work. Other picks you can look to at the forward spot, going with the mid-range a bit here in the 4K range. Horton Tucker coming off the bench can still be productive. And then you have Gordon at 42. If there is no Kevin Porter, which I don't think he'll play, then Gordon will look like a very good value. Probably take like close to 20 shots, if not more than 20 shots, and he can be really productive. So I'll clean this up a little bit. I'll put Doncic in at point guard, and then I'll put Schroeder in at the shooting guard just to make it look a little bit better. But overall, that's kind of the early look. Even though Eubanks really struggled, I think he wasn't that bad in his Spurs games. He was still a fantasy point per minute, so I wasn't expecting him to drop under 10 fantasy points again if he's starting. But that's it for the DraftKings side. Let's go over to Fanduel. So, I almost forgot. Instead of you can play Eubanks at center if you wanted to, but I think the best value is going to be Dwight Howard. Forgot that they priced him at 3,000. They didn't even price him up from his last game. I'll probably start again going up against this big Pelicans team. So definitely chance to get a double-double, get some defensive stats in there as well. So I look to Dwight Howard over Eubanks as your value pick, and it leaves you with a little bit more left. You can even play Eubanks if you wanted to, at utility, but Howard would be the key piece in terms of value pick. So now we can go ahead and look at FanDuel's picks, starting with the point guard picks. You have Luka, looks great at only 11-1. Not too expensive. You have Curry a lot cheaper at 92. LaMelo Ball looks better. So all the top 3 guys are really cheap compared to their DraftKings tags. Well, Luka is similar, but the other 2 are really cheap. Russell Westbrook is down to 68. That's super appealing if you think he can have a good game, but his good games come every once in a couple of weeks. Even without Davis, he's not the most, he's not like super locked in to massive production. Simons looks good just because he's going to have to do everything in terms of scoring the ball and gets you some assist. The Reggie Jackson looks a lot better to get to. Same thing with Cade Cunningham. He's over 7K on DraftKings, a lot better on Fanduel. Shooter, I like him a lot. If he's starting, if there's no Kevin Porter, looks like a good value pick. But Jalen Green at only 46 looks excellent in terms of saving some money. But I'm going to be looking to get up to Luka as my pay up. Him and LeBron are my 2 pay ups on the slate. And then Jokic would be 3rd. At shooting guard, probably look at like Simons as my favorite top end guy. Josh Hart looks good at 69 just because he's going to have to do a lot if there is no Winslow. And then you have a lot of good options in the 6 and 5K range with Cade Cunningham. Highlighting that group, you have Will Barton at 59, Schroeder at 53, Malik Monk 47, Jalen Green at 46. Both guys look great value-wise, but Jalen Green looks a little bit safer if Monk is coming off the bench, but Monk would be my second guy. And then Gordon is also very affordable at only 41. Small forward, LeBron James, playing my 2 spots, but he's only 10.5 on FanDuel. Nobody else is really close to him in terms of salary. My second favorite guy would be Brandon Ingram. Looks revenge spot going up against the Lakers, and the price tag on him is super appealing compared to CJ McCollum's price, who's up to 86. So I love Ingram as my second favorite guy at this position. And then I looked like Morris at 6,000. Look to Jayshawn Tate, 54. Wiggins, 56. Barton, 59. Those are my favorites. And then Gordon would be my value pick if there's no Kevin Porter. Small or power forward, you have LeBron as your main guy. Nobody else is above 75. You have Christian Wood at 75. Looks good if there's no Kevin Porter. But you have a lot of other value here with Morris Sr. at 6,000. You have Gordon at 57, who's been playing pretty productively as of late. And then value-wise, you can look to like Eubanks at 41. Watford at 36, but it comes off the bench. I'll go ahead and put in Brandon Ingram at small forward just because I think he looks really good at that price tag. And then I'm going to put LeBron at power forward. Makes it work like that. And then center-wise, looking at basically 2 options here. Jokic, if you wanted to pay up. I guess you could make an argument for like Christian Wood or Valanciunas, but for me it's Jokic, or I'm going to go all the way down to Dwight Howard, who's only 37. I'm going to take the savings with Howard. That will allow me to pay up for the other 2 superstars, Luka and LeBron, and hopefully Jokic doesn't go for 70, and hopefully Howard has a similar game to last time. I don't even need like 40 fantasy points. I need at least like high 20s, low 30s. Would be really nice at $3,700. But that's it for the video. Thank you for watching. Best of luck tonight. Stay tuned for updates on Twitter, and I'll see you all next time.